Hi guys, here I am sitting in Molly. Here she is, looking very nice in the sunshine. Today I'll quickly get onto it, fitting new dials, and I want to go across a few things I've come across which you might find useful with these old cars. And first of all, without more ado, we'll start with the speedo dial. Okay, the speedo dial on this one, on Molly, is a nice creamy bronzy colour, which apparently I was told was sought after. The downside is with it, if you turn the ignition on, right, the dial on it works because it's linked into the sender. The fuel gauge is linked into the sender, but I found it reads back to front. So initial thought is, well, just turn the terminals around. Well, that doesn't work if you turn the terminals around. And I've been searching on the forums, and one thing I did find, a useful comment, was that if you've got this old type of dial and you've got a new sender and it's a new fuel pump, so a new fuel tank, so I presume it's a new sender on it, then they're not compatible in the sense that you'll always, with an old dial and new sender, you'll end up with the fuel gauge reading back to front. So full is empty and empty is full. But as long as you know that and it works, I don't really mind. But you can't just change terminals around, it doesn't work, okay, to correct it. So that's the first thing I found. Another thing with this particular dial is, if you're looking for a voltage stabilizer, and we'll go into that in a minute, you won't find one on one of these dials. You'll find them on the later ones, but not on these. I think they're totally reliant on the voltage regulator, which is a slightly different kettle of fish, a different instrument, which is on these older vans. But we'll go into that in a minute as well. Okay, so this all came about because I'm trying to fit a temperature dial for the coolant temperature dial. Right, let's go into the coolant temperature dial area. Okay, now you can look on the internet, and East Sussex Motors or East Sussex Morris, they do a nice little kit, which you can buy for, it's quite expensive, is it about 70, something like that. I went on the eBay and got one for a Replica. Now, apologies to the aficionados, but this is the Replica that came all the way from India, and and there's the mountings on the back there, and it's very nicely made, and it came with this, which is the sender, which actually goes into the engine. Okay, question is, how do you connect the whole thing up properly? And this is where I came across various issues. Not because it's a replica, it's because there are issues associated with putting dials on. And one of them is that, first and foremost, is you'll probably need a voltage stabilizer. If you connect directly in to a battery fuse lead, ignition battery fuse lead, if you connect directly into that, you'll get a full 12 volts going to it. I wonder, unless it's coming from the regulator, maybe it's not. But anyway, normally you could get a full 12 volts. Now, if you put 12 volts through this, what will happen is you'll probably get a false reading. It'll probably be overread. These like about 10 volts. Now, this is where the voltage stabilizer comes in. Now, this is what you call the voltage stabilizer. Yes, I hadn't seen one before. This is what it is, and I got this from ESM. About £14-15. Okay, now there's two terminals, two double terminals on this, and it says top B, and there's an I as well. Now the B is actually that battery fuse lead, goes to that one, and the other one actually goes to the particular dial you're connecting. Okay, so now the important thing is, with these things, all it is inside is a bimetallic strip which is heated by a little element in there. Now, interesting on these, is it says actually, oh, there's the postman. Oh, it says top on there. So that top, does that mean that you have to position the thing upright? Now, there's two fields of thought on this. One says it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. The top is only there because it was, when originally fitted, it was in relation to the harness and how it was fitted, so the terminals would all line up. Another field of thought is that the bimetallic strip, you have it upright because the bimetallic strip should sit, not necessarily must, should sit above the heating element. If you have it on its side, it's not directly up. Now, whether it would make any difference, and they're so close together, I doubt if it would make any difference, to be actually honest. But if it did make any difference, then yeah, who knows? But so I think whether it makes a difference if you have it on the side, it's only a bimetallic strip heated up by a heating element. So, and they're very close together. So yeah, I wouldn't have thought it made any difference, however you positioned it. But there you are. But that has to be in the lead anyway, going to the dial. Now this will give out, it stabilizes the voltage. So whatever voltage that goes in there, it doesn't regulate, it just stabilizes. So a voltage that goes in there, maybe 12 volt goes in there, it stabilizes, it comes out between 12 and 0. It comes out on average about 10 volts. And it's the 10 volts which works well with the dials. So there you go. So you've heard it all here, and that will go in obviously the lead. So, and I've found a lead I can actually use because I fitted the window wash pump, and I fitted a little push here, and I had that lead which came from a fuse, battery fuse, which I'll show you in a minute. And that'll do. I'll probably connect it in there and use that one and see what happens. So this also, by the way, the mounting is a nice mounting which just fits into there. I found 2 holes on the self-tappers which helped me to fit that mounting in. That mounting I got that actually made in the UK and sent, which meant you only had to wait a few days to get it rather than get a cheaper Chinese one. This was or Indian one. And this was about £6, but you know, it looks really nice, isn't it? Let me show you. And that's the mounting. It goes on the back. I'll put that on so I can just show you what it looks like. I think it's a good position for it. There you go. Isn't that lovely? So, right. Next reason for doing this is, oh yeah, before I go on any further, while I'm in the car, if you can see this is I mentioned, did I mention the voltage regulator which is on these things, which actually does regulate voltage when it actually comes into the car. They've not all got these, somebody bypassed these things. But if you want to know all about it, you go on to, I found this on the web, and it's called the Morris Minor Car Club of Victoria, Inc. Incorporation Inclusive or whatever. It's on Facebook. So yeah, look that up. And it gives you a really nice article and breakdown of how the voltage regulator works. Right, but this is not about the voltage regulator. This is about where do you fit the sender. Now let's have a go to the engine now. What fun. Here we have the engine. Now this engine's been modified, not by me, my previous owner. And a lot of it says Maniflow on it, so Maniflow have done their magic on it, it seems, and it's an induction manifold via them and exhaust manifold via them. Maniflow are very good and well known. So where do you put this now on some of these? I presume it's a 1098 engine. On these later engines, they have actually a space here where you put the temperature sender. At the moment, there's just a bolt head, which is a 5/8 UNF I found. It screws in there. It doesn't go in very deep, which is an issue that came up when I was messing around with this. So from the dial, I'll have a lead going through here, and coming through here, I just pushed like a screwdriver just through there to make a little hole in the existing hole in here, which would save. I don't want to drill any holes in the bulkhead. Okay, so, and that lead will come through there and go to this. The problem is, I did get a sender from East Sussex Motors ESM, but okay, sure enough, it had the 5/8 UNF thread on it, which was really nice. But when I tried to screw it in, it only goes so far. The bottom end of it actually is blocked by something in the head, so you can only get it in so far. So basically the channel is not deep enough to actually take it. I tried putting in a few washers, copper washers, actually to take up the gap, but that wasn't any good. It leaked, and it's a bit Heath Robinson and faffy. I didn't like it anyway, so took that out. So what do you do in this situation? Well, I thought, well, I've got this originally came for free with the Indian one. Could I fit that? And there is a way you can do it. You can actually buy adapters. I didn't know this, but when you actually look on the web, there's firms that actually make brass adapters. And so what you need, if I was wanting to fit this one, and looking on the paperwork, this is an M10 times 1. Now the M10 relates to the diameter, and the times 1 relates to the thread. Okay? So, M10 times 1. Okay, so what you can do is, you can, I can't find the thing. Let's see if I can remember it. You want an adapter, if you look on the internet, you want an adapter which is a male, a 5/8 UNF male, with M10 times 1 reducer, which is the hole that goes through it, will take this M10 times 1. And the male bit, that's the female bit. The female bit inside it, which is the hole through it, would take the M10 times 1 sender. And the male bit, the main screw on it, will actually, which is the 5/8 UNF, it's confusing, isn't it? Will actually go into the body of the car. Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm waiting for that to arrive. I originally got it wrong and got it a UNF 5/8 female. I didn't realize until I looked at the invoice. I thought, oh, no, I've actually sent for the wrong thing. Anyway, I've been in touch to get it corrected. So you want the 5/8 UNF male going into the block, which will have a reducer, which will have, again, the female M10 times 1, which should take this. And you put a little, probably copper washer on each one, and you could use PTFE tape as well, apparently, to make a proper seal, or remains to be seen. It's all experimental, but I don't see why this all shouldn't work. But it's fascinating. Oh, the important thing, did I mention that this thing, the stabilizer, when you're actually fitting it, make sure it's earthed correctly. The body is earthed. So I've thought of putting it in here, because the lead will come probably from about there, probably through around the back. This is a metalist shelf. So if I clean up the shelf to give a nice, expose some metal. Now, if you can do it upright, fine. But if not, I might just try it on its side and see if it works. And I can probably screw it into that plate. There you go. What fun! Can I think of anything else? No, there's probably lots of things I've forgotten, but things have mixed up slightly, but you get the gist. Okay, and I just feel, here is basically, that's the regulator. And if you go onto that website I mentioned, it'll tell you all about it. And it's got AA1 and various, it'll tell you what they're doing. And these are the fuses. There's only 2 fuses. That fuse I found is live all the time. That fuse with these, and this is the positive end. the live end. This fuse actually is only comes on when you turn the ignition on. That's the way how it's geared. Okay, so so if something goes wrong, you don't have to look very far. If the electrics all goes, that's where the fuses are. Okay, anything else? Not for now. I think that's probably enough for everyone. Thanks a lot. Bye then.